Hey guys, welcome back to AviGaming. So today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 video games of 2014. Number 1 is going to be my game of the year, which was very hard for me to pick one because there's so many I like for different reasons, and putting these in order was very hard. Let's begin. Number 10 is Among the Sleep. I actually did a full playthrough for this on my channel, as well as I played the beta, and it was amazing. It's a horror game where you play as like a 2 or 3-year-old baby, and it's very interesting. The game itself was made by an indie company, and it was very well made. I think graphically it stands up with some of the AAA titles. The game's very short. I think it's only about 3-4 hours, but it's the feeling you get when you realize what the game's truly about. That ending moment for me, you can see it on my face in the playthrough. You can go check that out. It's on my channel if you want. You can see the moment when I realized what is actually happening, and then I started getting chills throughout my entire body because the message of that game is extremely deep. I had no idea that it was going to get to that level. I thought it was just going to be like a little cute, adorable horror game, and I know those things don't really go well together, but you were playing as a baby, so everything was really cute. But I really enjoyed that game, and I think that it had to be on my list because of the emotions it made me feel towards the end of that game was just insurmountable. I definitely recommend people checking that one out. Number 9, Super Smash Brothers. It just came out. I have it for the 3DS. I have it for the Wii U. I've never been much of a Smash person, but I've always appreciated it. I like watching tournaments of it on Twitch and stuff like that. I'm trying to learn how to play it, but I always manage to somehow kill myself at the first 3 seconds of the match. I really wish the stages were a bit bigger because I just kill myself way more than I should. But that's a game I definitely want to learn how to play, and it's one of the reasons I recently bought a Wii U. It's an amazing game. Number 8, Sunset Overdrive. Now, I am no longer into shooters. I used to be heavily into them in the Gears of War days, the Halo 2 days. That was my jam. But since then, I've fallen more towards the RPG side of gaming. But when I played Sunset Overdrive, I felt all the fun that I used to feel when I used to get really into shooters. This game is so unique, so colorful, and so fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and overall, it's just a really enjoyable game. I definitely think it deserves to be on my list, and I definitely want to play more of it soon. Number 7, Telltale's Game of Thrones. I finished that game the day it came out, and oh my gosh, it was only episode 1 and it's already just ridiculous. They combined Telltale with Game of Thrones, and those are two things I love dearly, so I knew I was already gonna like it, and it really came down to how much am I gonna like it? Am I gonna love it, or am I gonna really fucking love it? It turns out I really fucking love it. So for that reason, it had to be included on my list. If you're at all a Game of Thrones fan, you have to play this game. Number 6, Shadow of Mordor. Probably one of the coolest titles that came out this year. You got Troy Baker, you got Lord of the Rings. I mean, what else do you really need? It plays amazingly. You're like fucking Spider-Man on buildings. The combat's really nice. Everything about the game is good. I haven't finished it yet because I haven't had enough time. I'm trying to beat Dragon Age like every other game that came out this year. But that's definitely a game I need to finish, and I enjoyed it heavily for how far I've gotten. When I first started playing it, I kind of was like, eh, but then as I got more into it, I realized I lost track of time, and I was like, holy shit, I'm really into this, and I kind of got really into the game itself. You feel like such a badass in that game too. That's always nice when you feel like this unstoppable force. Number 5. Now this one I actually haven't played yet, but I have seen it, I've read the reviews, and it's a game I'm highly anticipating, and the reason I haven't played it yet is because I'm getting it for Christmas. So in like 2 days, I'm going to be playing it anyway, but I know I'm going to love it. So for that reason, I put it at number 5. If I had already played it, I probably would have put it up higher on the list. But that game is Little Big Planet 3. As most of you know, I'm not really a PlayStation fan, I'm more of an Xbox, Wii, PC kind of person. However, I do have a PlayStation 3, and there's very few games I play on it, but Little Big Planet, I've loved that fucking series. I'm so thankful that this is not just a PlayStation 4 exclusive and they actually put it on the PlayStation 3 as well, because I did not want to have to get a PlayStation 4 for one game. I think it's impossible not to like Little Big Planet. It's just an amazing series. Number 4, Telltale's The Wolf Among Us. Now, if I remember correctly, this game was released technically the previous year, but then I believe it finished up this year. So technically it is in this year. The Wolf Among Us is a fantastic series and what really opened my eyes to Telltale as a whole. I played all 5 episodes and I loved it. I played every episode twice, in fact. I wanted to do multiple story playthroughs just kind of see how everything was. So I actually have the game on PC as well as the iOS. The game is phenomenal. I think it might actually be my favorite Telltale game yet, but I'm gonna see how the Game of Thrones progresses, because that might win because Game of Thrones is my favorite TV series. But regardless, I'm putting The Wolf Among Us at 4 because I think that's where it deserves to be. Even beating Game of Thrones. Mostly because it's finished and I really got to enjoy the entire story. Game of Thrones just came out, so it didn't seem right to put Game of Thrones ahead because The Wolf Among Us is what opened my eyes to Telltale anyway. Number 3, The Evil Within. I have not finished this yet. I know some people are waiting on me to upload more episodes of that. We'll see. I have a lot more things I need to do right now, so I've taken a little bit of a break. But from what I've played so far, I think I'm at chapter 5 or 6. The game is fucking insane. You know, I got a lot of really bad reviews and a lot of people were hating on it, and I think because they were expecting more of an Outlast kind of game, where it was more of a jump scare, in your face, grotesque kind of thing. More of a like classical horror. This is more of like an old school Resident Evil thriller, kind of get your blood pumping kind of game. It's very difficult. I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty when you start. You can like beat the game on that difficulty and unlock more. I think it's survival mode. The game is very difficult, and you really gotta think and strategize on how you're gonna progress. I'm pretty much at like no ammo constantly, but the game is amazing. I definitely recommend it. I'm a huge horror fan, and when I started reading the reviews on The Evil Within before I got to play it, I was just heartbroken because this was one of the games I was looking forward to the most this year, and people were just shitting on it. I'm starting to think that those people who wrote those reviews just weren't hugely into the horror genre. As a person who is, I can tell you that it has been great so far. Not exactly what I thought it was gonna be, but better in a different way, if that makes sense. I did kind of assume that it was going to be more of a classical horror, but I should have expected differently considering that people who've made Resident Evil worked on this. The games that they make are more survival horror, which there's nothing wrong with. It's amazing. Number 2, Mario Kart 8. Now, I was really tempted to make this game of the year because it's fucking Mario Kart 8, and it honestly feels like the best Mario Kart that they've ever made. Everything about it is just perfect. The online works well, the maps are amazing, the characters, the customization to your kart. I'm glad they added babies in this one. Just everything about it is good, and it's fucking beautiful. And with the way the Wii U controller is, it's just nice. Everything about it feels right, and I don't know what else to say about it other than perfection. And number 1. You guys know what I'm gonna say? You probably know what I'm gonna say. Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, I kind of went back and forth with what I wanted to make Game of the Year, and there were some reasons why I thought maybe Dragon Age shouldn't be it. For one, I haven't finished Dragon Age yet. I'm about 60 hours in, and you know, I have a little bit left to go. Another reason that I was kind of debating against it is because there are glitches. Now, I've run into a lot less recently because I think they've patched some of the stuff, but when I first started, there was a couple that like broke the game kind of glitches with the cutscenes and would like lock you in and it wouldn't do anything. But most recently I've noticed that it seems like the glitches have kind of calmed down. Glitches happen though. It's a huge game. It has over 150 hours worth of gameplay in it. It's like Skyrim on crack. I've actually enjoyed this game more than Skyrim, which kind of surprised me. I didn't expect that. Now, for me personally, I wasn't into the first Dragon Age. I tried it, I got about halfway, and I quit out. I just wasn't feeling the wonky controls, and the game just felt unfinished to me. I gave it another try when Dragon Age 2 came out and fell in love with the series. A lot of people hated Dragon Age 2 because they felt too confined in one place. They missed the open world feel. So with 3, they really combined the two. The polish of 2. The open world of 1. And they've made this game that's really incredible. I'm not in love with the combat system, and I feel like some of the characters are a little bit lackluster, but that's me nitpicking. I think overall the game is amazing as a whole. And honestly, I think it does deserve Game of the Year. At least from my opinion. This is not like Game of the Year IGN edition, this is Game of the Year AviGaming edition, so this is all my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite games of this year are and what you're looking forward to next year. This has been an amazing year for gaming, and I think next year is going to be even better. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!